Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks so much for listening today. You probably know this if you listen to podcasts, but your willingness to rate and review what you've just heard is a huge blessing to our ministry. Really, without that, it's almost impossible for people to find us and be blessed by us. So would you take just a second to rate and review this podcast? Thank you so much.
Loneliness is a cultural epidemic. It's a struggle that we've got going on in our society right now. Even though we are the most technologically advanced in our communication than we've ever been, we've lost this interpersonal relationship. Our faces are buried on screens 5 inches or so long, looking at our phones. When I flew up here to make these devotion videos, everyone on the plane, everyone waiting in line, that is where they're looking. They're not interacting. In the book, Bowling Alone, the research shows that we are down 33% having friends over, hanging out with your neighbors. I know when I was a kid growing up, my parents constantly had card club. We had 20, 30 people over at our house. The kids would come over. We played and had so much fun. We are down 33% of having family dinners together. And if families do come together for dinner, oftentimes it's in front of the TV. And so you're not interacting or talking or doing life together. We're down 45% of having a close, dear friend. And you might hear that and go, I've got a good friend, but let me ask you this. When was the last time you had that friend over to your house simply because you like them? Not for a party or anything else, just you hung out, had a good time together. We are so lonely in our culture, but yet Paul's about to teach us that we can have joy even in our loneliness, that when we even don't have people around us, we don't have to feel alone and sad. Paul was writing to the Philippians, and when he wrote to them, he was in prison. Didn't have friends and family around him to have dinner with and to do life together with, but yet look at what Paul says in Philippians chapter 1, verse 4. In all my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy. Paul prayed with joy. And the reason why is because although they weren't there with him, he was constantly praying for each one of their lives, what was going on with them in their lives. So he felt connection to them. He felt their presence, even though they weren't present there physically with him. And so he had joy in those relationships. If you're feeling lonely, you don't have to be alone in the aspect that you can pray for your loved ones, praying for all the individual things going on in their lives. And then, when you can connect back up, you can find out what's been going on with them in their lives. You feel connected to them. And even though you might be alone, you don't have to have loneliness. And on top of that, you've got your best friend, Christ, that you're praying to. And so now you're connected to him, growing in his love, growing in thankfulness for all that he has done for you. You don't have to feel alone.